genesis of this project was that a year and a half ago, the New York City Department of Probation ordered one of our programs called Real Stories and asked the juvenile probation officers to use it with kids on probation. The kids saw that these were stories about kids like them and were intrigued. In fact, they said, just a few paragraphs in, one kid told one of the probation officers, asked one of the probation officers, "Mister, can I take this book home?" Which floored the probation officer. So they used Real Stories for an entire year and said it was the best thing that they had ever used, the most engaging. ACS heard about that intervention and thought, why not provide this opportunity to kids who are in secure detention?
The facilities executive director, Mr. Lewis Watts, came to me knowing that I already helped facilitate programs throughout the facility, and he had asked me to come in and to meet with Mr. Hefner, Mr. Keith Hefner, who is the director of youth communications, and he explained that their program deals with real teens, whether they're in juvenile detention, at-risk youth, in group homes, and they basically wrote stories that pertain to them and in a way to help other teens. And then our kids can say, oh, I went through something like this, or I know somebody who's going through something like this. And that can help them get through it. Just writing in itself, and to know that your peers, they're your age, they have probably a similar background, are even taking the time to write their own feelings about something, that in itself makes them feel like, okay, they feel comfortable in regards to that.
And you've got kids thinking about their lives, in reflecting on them in a way that could help them perhaps make different choices in the future. And you've got staff being trained how to do this.
As a juvenile counselor, first and foremost, there's some things that we have to do on our end so that we can be able to find a way to support them. Our kids have a lot of trust issues. A person who comes in for the first time, they're dealing with this adjustment period. This is new to them.
So the stories have the potential to be extremely effective because of this peer-to-peer phenomenon, and because we have created lessons that go along with them that give good guidance to adults for the kinds of questions they might ask at certain points in the stories to elicit very positive discussions. But the juvenile counselors, they've had relatively little experience in this kind of intervention.
These kids are supposed to read stories from other kids that are like them. And so you need a staff that's gonna say, guess what, you're not alone. And have some type of empathy and have some type of compassion, but be assertive while you're doing it, because there may be topics that come up that everybody can't handle. So Mr. Hefner came and he trained us for 3 weeks. This training was able to help equip our staff with how to gauge the direction these stories are supposed to go. So you're not going into it blind. You have the actual book that the residents will have, but the staff have their own leader's guide. It gives you how you're gonna start your exercise. It says there's a goal, what you wanna get out of, what should they be getting out of the story.
What the stories do is give the juvenile counselors a way to open conversations with the kids about the kinds of behaviors and attitudinal change that other kids like them have made that have been effective for them. So you're not preaching to them, you're just bringing in a peer who says it worked for me, which is much more palatable to the kids. What our lessons do, what we train the juvenile counselors to do, is to ask the questions of the kids in the group about the character in the story. There will be a point in the story where the kids' attendance will be going down and down and down, and you can just ask the group, well, what do you think he should do? And though the kids aren't going to say, I should go to school, they'll say, he should start going back to school. Remember when he was going back, Miss So-and-so was tutoring him? So they're able to externalize is the word. They're able to talk about the character, but they're really just projecting themselves onto the character.
Anytime I walk with these books, I have a hard time getting them back. I'm noticing. I'm telling you, you want to just look at it for a little bit? and you telling me come back tomorrow, then I'm sold. If you're sold, I'm sold. They're reading these books, and I'm proud to see that.